It is time for your favorite Android podcast from the crew of blindandroidusers.com. Kick back, relax, and enjoy another fine episode from these Google fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here are your hosts. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 99 of the Blind Android Users Podcast. We're recording on this Halloween weekend, October the 29th, 2022. I'm Warren Carr alongside with my co-hosts, John Dyer from Virginia, Doc Cameron from Canada, the Red-Headed Stranger, aka Mariam from Egypt, Austin Pinto from Mumbai, India, and we've got some special guests today. We've got Dhvaj Dhyani, who will be bringing us his Android journey story. And from Poland, we have a couple guests, Slawomi and Greg. These are your guys from the Seeing Assistant group. And today we're talking about the assistant move. So in other words, we're talking about the Seeing Assistant move, and that is what we've got coming up for you. In this episode, we have announcements coming up, followed by the spotlight in which the guys from Poland talk about this app, the Seeing Assistant move. The Red-Headed Stranger, aka Mariam, brings us her entries in the CSR series, The Confused Screen Reader. Then we have John Dyer comparing the Pixel Watch to the Galaxy Watch Pro 5. And we close today's episode with our friend Dhvaj Dhyani from India as he tells of his Android journey story. Welcome to episode 99. Doug, I hear it's cold out there in Canada. What's going on, my man?
Yeah, it's cold, but it's not horrible yet. We're sitting around that 0 Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit. So I'm still surviving pretty decently.
We've got 25 here, so we're cooler than you. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, like, we're still hot. Compared to you, we're hot. So, I'm cool with that.
Well, it's time to, bring out that whatever it is that you drink, hot tea, cider. This is the time of year. I drink a lot of cider. It's just a beautiful thing.
Ooh, give me an Irish whiskey. I'll be happy.
Mariam, what's going on, my dear?
It's not bad. The weather is awesome. Because we're like in the fall, it's the best weather where I live, particularly. And what's great about my town is the fact that you get onto like this ferry and you get to Asia. So basically, it's two-part town. Part of it is in Africa, and another part is in Asia. So yeah, it's great. I'm enjoying the weather mostly, and I'm really excited for our 100th episode next week.
Are you sailing to India by any chance? Is there a port, Port India out there?
Oh, maybe I might do that in the future. Why not?
Way to go!
There,
yeah, and Austin can fix you a drink. You know how that boy is. Austin, talking about you fixing drinks, what do you have going?
So Diwali is just over, and a lot of firecrackers this year. But now it's cooling down a lot. It's 23 degrees Celsius here, so it is not bad. But the winter is going to be very cold this year because it's just the end of October, and it should be warmer now, but it's cooling down. So the winter is going to get cold, and it's very good. The work is going on. Everything is good. I'm excited for our 100th episode.
Beautiful. John boy, what's going on with you?
Hey, I'm good. It's been a pretty standard week for me. The weather's nice. It's around 60 degrees, so it's still pretty warm here. Yeah, I haven't been up to much.
Let's now turn our attention to announcements. Austin, what do we have for announcements?
This has been an unbelievable announcement. Somebody has made a generous donation of $100, and I could not believe that. I read that page 2-3 times, but I have a request that next time whenever you all donate, you all please use PayPal, because whenever we use Buy Me a Coffee link, it takes $8 from your donation, but PayPal gives us the entire money, and we are thankful for any amount, big or small. So that is the announcement from here. And y'all all must join us for the 100th episode. We will post the links 2-3 days before the announcement on all our groups. So if you have not subscribed to the group, you should subscribe, or you can email contact us at blindandroidusers.com, and we will give you the link that way also.
And whoever you are that donated that $100 to us, frankly, I don't know what to say to you, but you need to come to the party. Even if you do not want to make yourself known, we just want you to come and celebrate with us. And thank you so much, because you know what? It couldn't have come at a better time, because our domain renewals coming up in December. So you have just saved us a big headache, and we want to say thank you so much, because this is unbelievable. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys during this celebration. We ask that you come to this party, because it's a huge one. Although we have another one coming up in the month of December, and that will be our 2-year anniversary. But we do want to see you during this Centurion 100th anniversary of our podcast. Let's now turn our attention to our wonderful friends from Poland. And this week we're talking about the Seeing Assistant move. And by the way, Seeing Assistant is the umbrella. And so things like move or home, and I think there's another one in development. I'll let Greg and Slowrmy talk about that. You guys, welcome to Blind Android Users Podcast. And let's begin with you, Slowrmy. What's going on in Poland? Tell us a little bit about Poland, because I think a lot of our listeners perhaps don't know where Poland is, or if there are any other cities in Poland besides Warsaw.
Hello, nice to meet you, nice to hear you, nice to be with you. I don't think I should talk too much about Poland, because you can get this information, I don't know, from Wikipedia. I'm from Warsaw. I mean, I live now in Warsaw for many, many years. It's the capital of Poland. We've got cities like Krakow, Poznań, Gdańsk, Łódź, and many, many, many others. In people, there live about 38 million people. So it's in Central Europe, by the Baltic Sea, and so on, and so on, and so on. And in this country, there is a Polish software house called, I mean, with the name, not Polish name, really, Transition Technologies. And that's the company in which we work, and in which we develop our Seeing Assistants. Firstly, maybe I'll tell a few words about the company. I mean, this company was founded in 1991, so it's been a while. There were, on the beginning, there were 5 people. Now it's I think over 3,000 people employed. We've got offices in Poland, different cities in Poland, also in other countries like Germany, France, United States, Sweden, I think, and in Malaysia, in Asia. So, and the company is main area is totally different than this one in which we are working. So the company is doing many different solutions for energy market, for power stations, for natural gas storage, and now also some solutions for medicine, in many fields. It's a big software house, but practically from the beginning, management of the company was thinking about doing also something else to other people. I mean, when they realized that they earn enough money, or quite a lot of money, they said, okay, why not to do something for people who need or might need our help or our knowledge. And that's how the story with the Seeing Assistant has started, which was about 12 years ago. And during all this time, we were developing, these applications, like you said, Seeing Assistant Home, Seeing Assistant Move. There was also Sailing. This is on iOS, Seeing Assistant Alarm, GPS, and others. But this main or more important two are Seeing Assistant Home and Seeing Assistant Move.
Shlomi, tell us, what's your role in all of this?
I call myself Spiritus Movens from Latin, which is the I'm the engine, let's say, of this project. But Gregor is the brain, and there are also other people working on this project, mainly testers and people who also volunteers, the users who call us or write us and ask for new functions, new solutions. They share their ideas, they share their experience. So it is the project that lives, on different platforms and different levels, as it should be, because we are doing, the application for the blind. We are also blind. I'm partially sighted, very partially sighted. Gregor's blind, and other people also here that work in the company. But we've got also sighted people, mainly developers for Android and iOS, because that field is not accessible, or is not very friendly, and it's difficult to make native applications for these systems for the blind person. So that's why we do it, with sighted people.
Hey, Greg, how about you? Tell us about yourself. And since you're the brain behind all of this, tell us about your role and how you came to this, or to be part of this Seeing Assistant.
Okay, hello everybody. It's nice to meet you online today. So I think that Sławomir is in fact the brain behind the Seeing Assistant applications. He is an inventor of this idea, the offer of many initiatives regarding new functions. How to say? I might say he is a product owner. I mean, the man who drives the direction these products are going. And I'm not a brain. I'm only one of many hands working on these projects. My role is mainly regarding server-side software developing. I mean, some sort of PHP, JavaScript, prototyping some things on the web applications, some simple things, and but mainly the server backend technology. For example, the processing of the map data, OpenStreetMap data, and improving the Valhalla routing engine we are using, and I think we'll be talking about it in near future, and things like this. So the server-side software developer.
let's talk about the name Seeing Assistant. How did you guys come up with this chosen name, Seeing Assistant, which is actually the umbrella for all of your apps that you produce, like the Move, the Home, and the other one you just mentioned a little while ago, the Sailing, and then there's another one on the Apple side of things that we don't have on Android. Tell us about how you came about choosing the title Seeing Assistant.
Oh, the story is not very exciting. I mean, it was just a natural process of choosing a name. There was a brainstorm with the people who at that time were involved in this project. We were discussing, quarreling, and finally we voted, and this name was chosen for the application. It's from one side it's good, from the other is bad. I mean, good, it's because it tells quite a lot about the project, about its aim, but it is probably a bit too long, but it is so, and we are not going to change it.
So what actually does Seeing Assistant Move does actually?
Oh, that is a very long story, because the application is very big. I mean, it has many functionalities, and in fact, it is not the only. It is not one app. It is several apps in one app. Complex set of functions, maybe not complex, because we still have many ideas and things to do, but it has got a lot of functions that are projected to blind people. We are concentrating from the beginning to give as many possibilities as possible to this GPS information that we can get from the maps points, and I mean, of course, you have to know that we were inspired also by this Lodestone application that was made on Android, not Android, on Symbian phones. By the way, created by your colleague from Canada. I forgot his name. Kirk Gregor, can you help me?
Sean Kirkpatrick, of course.
Kirkpatrick,
Canadian.
Sean
Canadian.
Kirkpatrick, yeah.
So it's a Canadian product. We're talking about Lodestone here that you guys kind of got an idea from and decided to do your own, but maybe fix it better. Because sometimes what happens is that when someone has an app, there are some pitfalls, and then someone says, "Hey, I wish they could have done something better. They could have done it this way." And if you're a developer, then you come up with your own and do your own, right?
Yeah, yes, that's right. But better because the possibilities that came with these new smartphones with the tactile screens were also bigger than this presented by Symbian. So that's why. And we are really using also points mainly. This application is concentrating on using points. The other level would be when we could use more objects like lines or fields, things like that. But it is another story. So generally, with Seeing Assistant Move, you can get different information from different sources of points, like OpenStreetMap, Google Maps, and we've got several main functions. First one would be monitoring, which is when you turn on monitoring and select the source of points that you want to monitor, the application will announce you the closest point from that category. So when you get when you are in a tram or in a bus and you are interested in bus stops you are passing by, you just select the source of points, people, transportation, and from now on the application can give you information about the closest bus stop, and that's it. Then you've got the exploration mode, in which you can explore the area that is around you. So when you move the phone around, the application will tell you about points that are in the direction you are showing. When you hold your phone with the screen to the sky and turn around, the application will tell you about the points that are in the direction you are indicating. The other function is tracking points. You can add any point to so-called track, and the application will give you information about the distance, about the direction to that point, and you can track or one point on azimuth, or you can create your own route. Route is a set of points that come one after another. They have got a set order from one, from the first one to the last one. So the order is very important here, and you can create your own routes, or you can ask a tool that will calculate a route for you, and we call this turn-by-turn navigation. And for this we use Gregor modified the Valhalla engine, and from now on you've got the track with several points, and you can go from one point to another, and that's how it works. Then we've got the function about, it's called description of crossings or intersections, and the application will give you information about the intersection you are approaching, about names of the streets and the directions in which they run. What else? And of course, at any time you can ask about the closest point or closest address using these different point sources that I mentioned before. And we mainly work with OpenStreetMap, and in Android with Google Maps, and on iOS with Apple Maps. So that's in short as I could do, because the application really has many other functions and options, and anyone can adjust it to his need. Maybe one thing more I should say, because that is the function that distinguish our application among others, is the possibility to save your settings, user settings. For example, when you are in a bus, you need different information than when you are walking. So you can adjust the application to your needs when you are in a bus, and save these settings. Give the name to these settings, for example, transportation, and then do another set of settings when you are walking, and give it another name and save it as a different set of settings. And each time you want to change it, you can do it in 2 seconds, and all is set. So that is the thing that gives you the possibility to adjust the application immediately to your needs at the certain moment.
I can say something. It's worth mentioning, but Sławomir didn't say about the most important thing related to the Move application. I mean, as we all know, there is a few applications for the blind people helping in navigation, but our Seeing Assistant Move is for sure the most advanced tool in this category. For example, I don't know any other application for blind people who would allow to import and load to the application the file in GPX format, for example, download it from the internet, and then follow this route saved in this GPX file. And of course, it's not only a unique function of the Move applications. We have many more advanced functions, which can be some sort of discouraging for some users, that it's not very simple application. After first run, people may have an impression that it's very difficult and very hard to get to use this application. But of course, it's all because of these many functions we are providing for the users.
Yes, that's right. We've got also the possibility to create and import the databases with points. So you can work offline. You can register your own route. You can save your location. You can share the routes with other people. Really, there's many things. And as Gregor said, it is rather big application with many functions, and really there is also something that is very very needed, which is the knowledge. I mean, people have to know quite a lot about navigation, about the terminology we use. You have to learn it. We have to know quite a lot about positioning systems, how they work, when the application can see that you are moving, and when it won't be possible. I mean, when you are moving too slow, the GPS system might have problem with giving the information about the direction you are moving. When you don't have direction, then you won't be able to receive the information about the next points. We use also compass, but you have to know that compass works good, but when you are in a train where there is a electric field, the compass is not working at all. I mean, it is showing you bad results. You have to know that what is the accuracy of the accuracy of positioning. You have to know what we mean by saying the radius of monitoring, or radius of points, communicates distance. You know, there's quite a lot of things to learn. I mean, of course, from the beginning we pay very special attention to the terminology. We are very concentrated on doing the application and the terminology quite unique. I mean, not to give the same names for different options. So I think it is quite ordered, although we know also that the interface needs rebranding, and we will do it one day. But because now after this 10 years of developing the application, we know and we see that it needs reordering. But however, when you want to have a very advanced tool that gives you a lot of independence, and you may learn it, and you should learn it, because these maybe hundreds of hours that you sacrifice will pay you back.
So I really like the idea of the app and how it's being implemented, because as you both pointed out, mentioned the fact that I don't have to use like countless apps for me to get the experience I want or the independence I want. However, my question is, because I have not like tested the app as much, can I save a certain address? Like for instance, I visit a place often, right? So I want to save this certain point. And I would just I would let the app that yes, I visit this place often. So once I pick that place, it'll take me to it. So can I save an address, like a certain location that I go to?
Yes, correct points. All notifications off. Button. Activate.
Yes, of course. I mean, this is the very, very basic function. I mean, you can save any location, and you can save the location in at least two different modes. I mean, or you press the button save location, and the application will you will have to write or dictate a name for the point, or the application can automatically get the closest address to that point, and this name of the address will be the name of the point. So it is very easy. We'll just press one button. Let's say a second, maybe.
Open. Turn by turn navigation. Home. Page home.
Okay.
Save current.
I have a question.
Save current location, and then that's all. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my question is, how does the app is accurate in countries like India?
The application works everywhere on the world where there is data on OpenStreetMap. or Google Maps, but mainly on OpenStreetMap. We concentrate on this data because this data is for free and we can use it without limitations. Because with Google there's a different story, and you can use only some things in limitations, but with OpenStreetMap there is no limitation.
I would like to clarify one thing, sorry, because the application has the same accuracy everywhere, not in every country or in every place. It depends only on the GPS accuracy or another geolocation technology which your phone is using, and of course. What you are asking about is how accurate is the data we are using in the application, and it's of course different in different countries or even in different cities. The OpenStreetMap can work differently, because if in some town there is there are some people interested in developing the OpenStreetMap. It's developed very dynamically, and it develops nicely. And in some towns where there aren't many interested people, there is a slower progress of OpenStreetMap development. But taking into account that many companies are using also are using the OpenStreetMap data, they are interested in developing it in different countries, in different cities. So of course the best thing to do is to just to download, install and check it out. But apart of the data accuracy and data incompleteness or completeness in your area, for me, I remember very well the day when I was first time I was using the GPS navigation. It was a Lodestone on the very old the Nokia Symbian phone. It was about just 15 or 16 years ago. And it was, for me, it was a very great, powerful experience for me as a blind person, to have possibility of saving the point, precisely saving the point I am in. So I could save to the software, to the database. I could save the place where when I know how to travel from. I mean, for example, the bus stop, and then I could go to the forests, walk through the forests on the paths which I don't know. I never been there before, and I knew that every time I would like to return to this bus stop, I know how to travel from. It will be possible using this application. So even without an external data like OpenStreetMaps or other mapping services, even the possibility of saving some your
just 1 point.
Yeah, 1 point or more points is very important. As for example, another great thing was to travel to some unknown hotel or unknown place, unknown city, and then first thing to do is to save in the database a point of this temporary home, just to be able to return from everywhere there.
Okay, one more question. So we can say that it can also lost us, like in the Google Map does. Like we can get lost, or we can go on the wrong way because of this application as well.
Yes, I mean, I'm saying always that you can put me in any point of the world, and with this application I will be always be able to go back home. It doesn't really matter which methods I will be using, whether it will be navigation on azimuth, or whether I will be able to generate a turn-by-turn route from the engine. but always I'll be always back.
I think you didn't go. Complete first. You complete first.
And you can of course register your own route if you are going somewhere and then you want to go back the same routes, then you can do it as well.
Okay. No, I think you didn't get my question. Let me give an example. If I'm going to an unknown place, example for some different city, I don't know the route. So in Google Maps, sometimes it shows the wrong route to us. Like then we go somewhere, then we need to take a U-turn because of the wrong route. Like that, it could be the same possibility with this app as well, right?
If the OpenStreetMap data has street data in your in this city you are talking about, it of course is possible to get such routes to get
from the different engine, not from the Google Maps, but from the engine that we use.
From the engine we are using, improved for the blind people with additional mechanism for the blind people, and it all depends on the OpenStreetMap data, if and its completeness in your country, in your city. But even without any street data, what Sławomir said before, there is also possibility of navigating on azimuth. I mean that you get an information that your point of interest, your destination point is to the east, and you are traveling that you are traveling to the north. The point is to the east, so you must imagine that traveling to the north, you must look for next road turning right, just to be able to go east. And in such method, maybe not optimal, but you will be able to travel to the destination point in a shorter or less shorter way.
Okay.
That's the one of the points. I mean, there is no navigation on streets if these streets are not on the map. If you don't have this information, you don't have streets, lines, then you won't be able to generate a route that will give you directions and information exactly where to turn left or right.
Okay.
So I have a question. Is the app free, or do you have in-app purchases? Is it ad supported? Do you depend on donations? Like, what's your financial model?
Financial model is very simple. This application is being developed in so-called corporate social responsibility strategy, and for Android, this application from the beginning is for free. For some time, the application was paid, just a very simple sum on iOS, but then we gave up because the income was just symbolic. So the application, I mean, the management of the company decided that it will be its CSR. So the application, all the applications are for free, lifetime license, no additional payments. And that's also why we are limited on some sources of points, because if we paid to Google, we could use also their maps, but that would cost too much. I mean, we are the company is spending quite a lot of money for developing the application, and then paying out quite a lot of money for other things. It's now too much. May I ask you a question? How have you learned about Seeing Assistant Move? Do you know people who use it in Canada or in other countries?
Not from my side. I have not seen, especially because I am not really connected to the much visually impaired people.
So how I heard about the app was actually I've seen it like on some communities for visually impaired, and I have some friends who are actually on the iOS platform who use the app, and I was really excited by the idea of it. I think it got kind of viral and popular especially on Twitter and social media lately, which is cool. And yeah, I'm really happy with that.
For me, the
nice to
first
hear.
time I heard about Seeing Assistant Move, because I'm always constantly looking for apps, the app junkie king. And so we talked about this on our mailing list. Mariam's not very active on our mailing list, but it's one of those apps that some people talk about that they prefer. And so it's something we've talked about on Blind Android users. And so it's something that I've known about for quite a while. And then when we talk about GPS apps on our mailing list, and this one is one of those that comes up as one of the good apps to use, besides other ones, competitors like Lazarillo and the likes, the Seeing Assistant Move is one of those that comes up as well.
Okay, nice to hear.
Now, you had said something earlier, and I think about complexity. And usually what it is that kind of repels people is the complexity of an app or its UI. Management of that UI is sometimes key to whether or not someone is going to use an app or not, because when apps become a little bit too complicated, it becomes a little bit intimidating for some. And I think what happens is that people tend to kind of like, hey, this is too complicated. I can't even get to set it to where I want to go. Is it possible for me to say, pick up the Assistant Move and just, tell it or, input, take me to 202 East Seattle Avenue and tap on go? Will it take me there, or do I need to do anything special to have it take me to 202 East Seattle Avenue?
It depends. It depends because I don't know if you can hear my phone.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Wait a
Do
second.
you want still using application in simulation mode? No button. Yes. Home.
I'm now
Find address
in the
button.
simulation
Double tap to
mode,
activate. Double tap and hold
and
to long
I'm
press. Trip meter button.
I'm in
Double
Canada.
tap to activate. Turn by turn navigation.
And
Page
I opened,
by turn
yes,
navigation.
it's very quick. I mean, the
Additional
application. Wait
instructions.
a second. And the application, and listen. And here I opened the tab called Turn by Turn Navigation. And here I've got these fields.
Detected. Text. Detected. Text. Detected. Text. And detected. Off. Additional navigate points. Switch. Save points. Home. Home. Page 4 step. Save current location. Turn by turn navigate. Turn by turn
navigation.
Detected. Text. Detected. Off. Additional navigate points. Switch. Detected. Text. Endpoint cinema. Grid. Double tap to activate. Detected. Text. Excluded points. Detected. Text. My location.
My location. Okay. So here's the start point is my location. I can choose a different point, but usually 99% you will go from your current location to somewhere. There is another field.
Detected. Text. Excluded points.
Excluded points, because I can tell to the application, listen, I don't want to pass through certain points, because I know that there are many cars, or there are branches, or there are obstacles that I don't like. So I can here put these points that I want to exclude from my route.
Detected. Text, endpoint cinema, grid.
And then I choose a point called cinema something in Canada. I'm in
detected. Text, foot. Detected. Text, optimal.
The route I chose as a optimal.
On, recalculating route, switch.
On, recalculating route. It means that when this switch is on, when I get off the route, because I would like to go on a different way, the application after some time will recalculate and generate a new route, yeah, to my destination point.
Off, additional navigate points, switch.
Additional navigate points. It is that in this route that will be generated, there will be quite a lot of points, not only these points in which I have to turn right or left, but every, I don't know, 20, 15 meters, there will be a point. Some people like it and they want to have many points on their route just to know that they are on the right way.
On, additional instructions, switch.
Additional instruction. That is our specific function that Gregor was. He made it. I mean, and this when you check this application will give you information about crossings, names of the street that you are crossing. Going straight. So if your route leads I don't know 300 meters straight, and on this route you have 5 crossings, the application will tell you which street you are crossing. It will tell you also about the stairs, about the gates you have to pass.
Redesignate and track the route button.
And so on. And now I've got a button.
Finish track. Redesignate and track the route button.
Redesignate, because I've got one route already.
Redesignate and track the route
designated.
Button.
So I
empty list. Designating route. 0% detected.
And now I go to
off. Additional navigate. On. Additional instructions. Finish tracking. Show track points. Button.
Show track points.
Tracking points. Tracking points. Page 2 of 7. Open. Button. Active. 1. Walk east. 28 meters. North. In list.
And that's all. And the application has calculated a route for me. I know that this point.
Active. 1. Walk east. 28 meters. North.
Is activate.
Double tap to activate.
Is active.
Double
so
tap and hold to long press.
That is the point I am going now. Then the next point is
2. Turn left. 115 meters northeast.
Yes, because I'm not moving now. I'm inside the building and I'm not moving. So the application is telling me about the cardinal directions. But when I go outside and start moving, the application will tell me whether this point is ahead or slightly left or slightly right, and so on. So it isn't difficult, but you have to know that every application has its own UI, and many people complain and say, okay, but in Google Maps or in other application, it is made in a different way. It is. And you can always say that something should be made in another way, but once you stop thinking in this way and you start thinking, okay, let's see how I can work with this application, it's much easier.
I'm very sorry for joining late, Slavomir. I just had one question, and sorry if you've covered it. What will Seeing Assistant Move do if I've programmed in a route and I go the wrong way. So you said it'll read out the cross street, which is brilliant. What if I veer off and accidentally go down that cross street? Will it recalculate? Will it go, oh, hang on a minute, Ed, you've gone the wrong way? Don't do that. What does it do?
Yes. The application will when you go the wrong direction, the application will tell you that you are going in a wrong way. So you have to turn 180 degrees, and go the other way. That is the and when you the application calculates you a route, and it says that you in 100 meters you have to turn left. But you go there and you see, oh gosh, there is a car accident, or the street is blocked, or there is a you can't go there. Then you decide that you turn right. After 50-60 meters, application will or automatically recalculate the route. It depends what you check in the application. If you check that the application recalculates automatically, then it will recalculate the route. If not, you can do it manually.
Yeah, that's really good. Because sometimes you'll be traveling along, and if you're not a confident traveler, it might not be that there's an accident. It might just be that you missed that left-hand turn that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. But there's also this option when you can calculate a route from point A to point P. And then you see on the list all these points. You can imagine, you will be informed how the engine calculated a route, and you say, oh God, I don't want to go to the point 15, 16, 17, because there is a big mess. There's a lot of people. There's poles, cars, whatever. You can check these 3 points and then activate an action, exclude points and recalculate routes, and then the second route that will be recalculated will be won't be leading through these points 15, 17, 18.
That makes sense. So I'm thinking about my location, for example, when I'm traveling to the local post office here, and usually the map wants to take me down a street called Anna Claire, and I prefer going on Tacoma Street, for example. So I could, with this app, I would say, exclude Anna Claire. Is that,
yes?
Am I getting it right? That totally makes sense, and I like that. I really like that.
You can exclude, but I suggest you exclude 1 point before and 1 point after, and the point that you want to exclude. Then recalculate a route. Then you can see again whether it goes, as you want, and then you can also save this route. Just for the next time, you can save this route, all of the points of this route to your routes, and then you won't need even connection to the internet, because this route will be saved to your routes on your device.
Great.
There's really I'm sometimes joking, because when people start asking me whether they begin the sentence, they begin the question, can seeing assistant move do? And I say yes. And in 95% times it is true.
And can I back those save routes up to the cloud in case my phone resets? Does it integrate with OneDrive or Dropbox?
Dropbox, yes.
Only Dropbox.
Yeah, for now, yes. But we are thinking also, to integrate with Google or on iOS with iCloud. But you can also you can send it, via email. This route, you can back up data on your computer. There's no problem.
Great. So one could save it locally if you wanted to, and if you have a new phone, you could simply import your routes or your data points that you've saved, and one is good to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
As I said, I can also simulate location in any point of the world. As I said, now I am I simulated the location in Canada, and wait a second.
Yes, button.
Tracking
points.
And my closest point.
Detected. Text. Endpoint cinema. Grid.
No.
Oh. Access. Search for a point. Show neighborhood. Button. Find address. Button. Closest address. Button. Tremblay Road 200. Closest address. Button. Accessibility volume set. Find address. Button. Closest address. Tremblay Road 200. Closest address.
Yes,
button.
Tremblay Road 200. And it's in Canada I forgot the city.
Search for addresses and show track points, but save turn by turn navigate. Search for addresses and points in show track points, but search for a point. Find address button. Closest address button. Tremblay Road 200. Closest address button.
Okay, but the point is
save points.
Saved points. I saved the point.
Selected, but Enix.
No.
Points. Force import databases and routes from directory. Databases list. Favorite points TBT, but save points, but save points. Cinema. St. Laurent Boulevard 815 Ottawa Family Cinema Eastern Ontario CA on 2.13 kilometers. List filter, edit box, out of list. Cinema. St. Laurent list filter, edit box. Station. Tremblay Road 200 Ottawa Eastern Ontario CA on 0 meters north.
Yes, I'm on the central station in Ontario, which is 6,500 something kilometers from Warsaw.
Yeah, so you can explore a route before you need to use it.
And I can explore the area there. I can explore the area. I can check for bus stops, crossings, pubs, everything. Yeah.
Although that family cinema sounds no fun, that's not going to show any dirty pictures, is it? But no, Warren, that was it. That was it for me.
Well,
no, it better not.
Okay, next time I will search for a pub there.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, much better. Pub, football stadium, not boring family orientated entertainment.
Okay.
Great.
Guys, listen, if you want, we can also meet once again, twice, and I can talk more about the application, but it would be really much nicer if there were some people that has tried a little bit of this application to use it, and then you might have many questions, and the discussion will be more interesting.
That makes sense. So we could try to demo the app. I'll try to see if I maybe it warms up a little.
I'm going to take it around Mumbai in episode 101.
You want to demo it in Mumbai in episode 101? Okay, great. Austin, if you could do that.
And we can also tell in our tell in our group.
I can do that myself here. That'd be awesome. Like I'm going out with friends this week. I can just demonstrate the app here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And if you've got questions, I mean, I can leave a contact for me for Warren. And if you've got and when you get stuck, you don't understand, or you won't be able to pass through some functions, or you'll be, we will have problems. Just you can call me and we can speak a bit, and I can explain you some things. No problem.
Wonderful. So we'll put that in. I'll have that info and a way to contact you. You got your email address and things like that. We'll put
but
those
you have to
in the show
remember
notes.
that there is the time difference between Poland and Canada. And
yes,
India.
That's important.
Well, one sec, Slavomir, just to check, Warren. Slavomir, do you want us to do that? Or
Go ahead.
Warren's thinking of putting it in the show notes, which means a whole bunch of people might get in touch with you. So it depends how widely you want that offer to go.
Maybe just your email.
Yeah, but maybe it's just us. Maybe on the crew, maybe we don't put it in the show notes.
Let's start. We will start with the email, and then you know, if somebody is very interested in getting this information, I will contact with him or her, and we will adjust, you know, a meeting, call, whatever. No problem.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming to the podcast. And it's been a real fun time with you guys. And as we indicated, we'll put your email address there in our show notes so that people who want to get in touch with you will get in touch with you via that email address. And also to mention here in passing that if you want to come back and talk to us, we're open anytime for you to come back. And most especially, as I indicated earlier, if you would be able to come next week, I need to repeat that and pound on that more and more, because I'm sure there are going to be people in there during this celebration that would like to talk to you about the Seeing Assistant move. And so next week at the same time, if you could come back and bring some of your buddies, I think that's going to be a wonderful party. We do want to thank you so much. You and Greg. Greg, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation.
Being the brains behind it.
Phenomenal.
I've got one suggestion, because you know it is sometimes difficult for us to speak English. Maybe for next time you will learn Polish.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give us a couple weeks and we'll get on that.
Exactly.
Nice.
And you know what you need to do though, Sławomir, is at least give a shout out to our Polish listeners.
Okay. Zapraszam wszystkich do słuchania audycji Blind Android Users. Myślę, że to nie jest ostatni raz, kiedy tu gościmy.
Now, Greg, it's your turn.
I would like to say something, but maybe it would be easier for me to say it in C++ or PHP or JavaScript programming language.
You can do that in Polish too if you want it.
No idea what to say, but maybe as a great challenge, maybe you will try to use some sort of auto translator to translate what Sławomir said before in Polish and to translate it to English.
There must be a bot that will do that, or Babelfish or something.
Yeah.
So I just have one final question about the Polish language. Can you tell me what the Polish word is for cheeks?
Cheeks, like this on your face.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Policzki.
Policzki?
Policzki.
Sounds
No, you know what? We need to pull its Policzkis out.
What do you need it for?
Because I absolutely love pulling people's cheeks.
Yeah.
You like to go about and holding people's
and I as well collect the different words for cheeks. Policzki?
Cheeks, yeah. You are close to the Polish girl and you want to kiss her, yes?
Thank you.
But I'm putting my own Policzki right now. I'm putting my own Policzki.
Policzki.
Excellent.
Oh, leave it to Ed. You know, Policzki. Beautiful. We now turn on to our next segment, and this time we're talking about that CSR entry. And here is that red-headed stranger, aka Mariam Mosen. Mariam?
Commentary screen reader, or the Chinese screen reader, has gotten really popular among blinds and visually impaired recently. And here, on the Blind Android Users podcast, we will have a series of episodes in which we will talk about how to use the screen reader and how to get the best out of it. everyone, and welcome to a new episode of CSR's Basics. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about 3 key features. 2 of them are pretty new. Well, most of them are new. One of them is a updated one that got some new features and new changes that I think are pretty useful. So let's get right into it because we want to keep this as short as possible. So the first feature we're going to be talking about is the selection menu. So the selection menu we've talked about before, and when we were talking about the granular editing mode and the copy and paste features and all that, which was pretty cool. But I remember in this episode about a year and a half ago, or even more, I was talking about the fact that I really wanted it to include more features, which means this selection menu only had word-by-word mode. So you could only use word-by-word mode. But right now, we have words, paragraphs, and even sentences, which is awesome on so many levels. However, I have to point out that this feature is only available for premium users, which means if you have the free version of the app, you'd be able to use it, but with only the word-by-word mode. But if you are a free user, a premium user, you could actually use all these features. They're definitely available to you without any problems. But of course, if you're a free user, you can have a way around it, and you can figure it out by using the granular editing mode and the navigation by elements, like navigation elements, the rotor. As well known as the rotor. And if you want more info on how you can do that, you can check out our 2nd or 3rd episode on copying and pasting and all that. We went over this in more details, of course. Now let's demonstrate what I mean and see how it looks like. So for instance,
Standard. Navigate up button.
I am in the voice recorder app by Samsung. Now,
Standard. Navigate up button. Stand 2 minutes. Standard. Navigate up button.
this has 2 words like navigate up. How we can go to the selection menu, let's refresh our memory. We open the function menu by up and right,
Function menu.
swiping up and right, and then we find
Function clear. Select.
select. Keep in mind you can also set a gesture to it if you'd like.
Granular selection mode.
Now it's called granular selection mode. Now, note, we have
Cancel button.
cancel button,
Select all button.
select all,
Copy button.
copy,
Export button.
export. This is a new button.
Sentences button.
Sentences,
Word by word button.
word by word,
Characters button.
characters,
Paragraphs button.
paragraphs,
Up unchecked.
and
Navigate unchecked.
navigate up. Those are the check boxes. Those are like the words as check boxes, basically. Now, before we didn't have
Cancel button.
this cancel button, and I'll see, like I'll let you know why we have it in a minute.
Select all button. Copy button. Export
We
button.
didn't have this export as well. So let's say we want to copy only navigate.
Navigate unchecked.
Just click on it.
Checked.
It's checked. Now, if we hit copy,
Cancel. Select all copy button. Copied.
it says copied,
Select all button.
but it didn't get us out of that menu, right? So if we want to get out of this granular selection mode, as the case with most of the screen reader's dialogues, we can just hit the
Cancel button.
cancel button and it'll get us out of here. However, you can also use
Select top paragraphs button.
paragraphs,
Navigate up unchecked.
and it's now like the whole sentence is here, like because it's not a long text. I don't have long text in front of me, but of course you can do that with like a longer text and just, you know, filter out what you don't want and all that, and just
Checked.
hit that. The export button as well is if you want to export a little piece of a text into a text file, which is cool in so many levels as well. I love this feature, and I'm glad that the developer seems to listen to our feedback, and I'm really happy with that change, of course.
Cancel button.
Okay, we'll get out of here. Now, I'm going to talk about a new awesome update in the TTS that got pushed out, which was awesome. So I know on iOS you have a feature called speech on, speech off, which I think you do with double tap with three fingers. And this feature, it only turns speech off, leaving the sound feedback on if you have it turned on right in the settings, and the gestures all work but the speech, which is awesome. And we've been asking for that feature forever, for years now, I remember. And I'm glad that the developer seems to actually listen to users' feedback, because it's such a crucial part of being a developer. How can we access that feature to turn speech off, leaving sound feedback on? Basically, what you can do is open the main menu.
Main menu.
Swipe down.
Main menu.
Swipe down again.
Main menu.
And then we need to scroll to the end of the menu.
Disable main TTS engine.
Disable main TTS engine. And I actually will let you know how to assign a gesture for it. It's basically like you assign any gesture, but I did assign a gesture for it, which is awesome because I use it all the time. However, you have to keep in mind that it does not work with notifications, and I don't know if this is a bug or something that we need to do about it, because I kind of turned it off for notifications though. However, you have a little bit of a solution here.
Disable secondary TTS engine.
You can also disable secondary TTS engine if you have that turned on. I don't personally.
Change input method. Increase screen rate, increase speed, decrease speed, read all notifications.
Read all notifications. So this is something I've been looking for a long time as well, because I didn't want to go to the settings and disable it and then go back and re-enable it. It was just such a pain. But now you can assign a gesture to it, or either go to the menu and disable it and enable it again, which is cool.
WhatsApp 3200.
Now let's try to actually assign a gesture, or I will show you what I did with the main TTS and how I assigned a gesture for it.
Program settings.
G-Show
operation setting. Feedback settings.
And
TT general settings. G-Show setup wizard. TT read usage. Read the automatic invert swap. Use custom gesture scheme settings. Custom left and right gesture function. Monitor the currently focused element.
I assigned for it the triple tap with two fingers actually.
Right and up and down, left and down, right up and right, down it, single, double, triple tap with two fingers function. Disable main TTS engine.
Yep. So you can go here.
Triple tap, default on, no plugin, custom tools on, application on, function unchecked. Stop speech unchecked. Cancel button. Triple tap with two fingers.
Pick the function.
Function unchecked.
And assign it for it.
Stop cancel button. Custom.
So I'm going to do triple tap with two fingers, and let's see. It made a little sound here. I'm swiping right now. It's not saying anything. So let's do triple tap with two fingers again.
Camera.
And it's back.
Contacts.
So that's basically how you do it. I like it. It's awesome. It's so good. If you want to just shut the screen reader up for a minute while we record a message or whatever, it's amazing. Now, we're going to talk about two things that are related. They have the same title actually. One of them we've seen when I was browsing the settings. It's called
more button. Main menu. More button. Main menu. Earpiece mode.
And I think it's better as called as like a whisper mode, basically this gets the screen reader out of the it gets the screen out of like the speaker, not the speaker, but like when the earpiece, you know, that you take your calls with. So, which is cool if you want the screen reader to be low for you to hear it yourself. If you're like in a crowd or like in a packed area and you cannot like hear the screen reader from the speakers, and you don't want to like to hold it in a weird way, or you don't have like your earbuds with you or anything like that, you can definitely use this earpiece mode. Now,
Cancel button.
the reason I said that there's another option that's related to it, because in the content reading settings,
Main menu. Extension.
in
Program
the
settings.
program settings,
Custom. Back button. G-Show
get out
Plus.
of
Back
here.
reading
The
settings.
reading settings, we have a new dialogue
Reading settings.
that got added in the new like October 15th update.
List label reading. Dynamic content. Intelligent. Screen state read. Earpiece mode settings.
It's called earpiece mode settings.
Earpiece mode. Earpiece. Read the caller's ID checkbox unchecked controls whether the caller's name and number are being read automatically on an incoming call.
So this one is like
Telegram 88 new
it's been
messages.
there for a long time, but it was like in a different place, and I think it was actually in the TTS settings before. Now it's moved in here. I think it's more logical. I have it disabled because we're going to find out in a minute why I have it disabled.
Read number of calls 5.
Read number of calls 5. It's actually mistranslated. It means the number of times the screen reader has to announce the caller ID, and that's why I had it disabled, the read the caller ID formerly. Still haven't turned it back on again because it already announces the caller ID once, and I don't need it more than that. But this is awesome because the screen reader, once I got a call before this update, and if I had this like
read the caller's ID checkbox unchecked control.
if I had this on, it would literally read the caller's ID and the number countless times. It's so chatty, especially if I was like in a meeting or something, and even if my phone was on silent mode or whatever, it was so annoying. So that's why I disabled it. But now it's more, they can control it more. They can have a little bit of control over it by
read number of calls 5.
picking how many times you want the screen reader to announce the caller ID, which is awesome.
Use ringtone volume for speaking checkbox unchecked controls whether the ringtone volume should be used for reading the incoming call screen.
This one as well is still in DTTS settings. It's also in here, which is more logical. Now, the reason I have it disabled because in this update, it got a little bit buggy and messed up to the point where whenever I got a call, whether I declined that call or picked it up, and then after that, when I end the call or when I decline the call, the screen reader would still be on the ringtone volume control, which was annoying to me. I didn't want that to happen. So I just disabled it. However, people on the Telegram group for the screen reader have reported that to the developer, and he actually said that
Telegram
it's
89 new
going
messages.
to be fixed in the next update, which is awesome news. I can't wait for it. I have it now disabled because yesterday it got to a point where, so basically whenever that happened, I had to go to earpiece settings, just like where we are right now, and
use ringtone volume for speaking checkbox unchecked control.
basically I had to disable it and enable it. But yesterday when I went here and disabled it, the screen reader still didn't go back to the normal accessibility volume control, and I had to restart my phone. So it was just a little bit of a pain to me, because it's like when the screen reader is same volume as the ringtone, of course it's pretty loud, and you cannot turn it down unless you have to go to the volume controls, and it's just so annoying.
Speak up. Duration of the finished phone call checkbox checked controls whether the duration of the call is automatically read when the call is finished. This function requires the permission to read call logs. Telegram 91 new messages.
So this is actually explained, self-explanatory. I love this feature because I always want to know how much time I spent in that call, and I forget to like go to the call log of the history, but it just tells me right away. I just love it. It's awesome. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this episode and it was useful. I'm sorry for any background noises. It's a little bit out of my hand right now, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we're close to our 100 episodes, so I'm really happy for that, and I hope you all join us in our celebration in our 100 episode next Saturday, November the 5th, and thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do actually have any questions, do feel free to reach out to me or to the whole podcast at contactus@blindandroidusers.com, and I hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Mariam, for those CSR entries. And people do enjoy those, and keep them coming. We now turn on to John's comparison between the two watches, and that's the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro and the just released Google Pixel Watch. John?
I mentioned that I didn't know how to change the orientation on the Galaxy Watch, and our friend Dhvaj here actually pointed out to me that you can change the orientation on the Galaxy Watch. So you just have to go into the general settings on the watch and just go to orientation, and you can choose which wrist it's on and which side you have the buttons on. And it's actually important to make sure this is set accurately, because it'll affect some of the accuracy of some of the sensors and stuff.
Hello, today I'm going to be comparing the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro with the Pixel Watch. And the first thing I'm going to start by doing is just turning them both on. I have one on each side here, so I'll turn them both on.
On screen, 2:32 p.m. 2:32 p.m. 2:32 p.m.
So as you can see, the Galaxy Watch turned on faster, but it said home screen before it said the time, so technically the Pixel Watch gave me the time first. And sometimes the Pixel Watch does say home screen before the time. It might depend on whether you were last on the home screen or not when you last used your watch, but the Galaxy Watch will always say home screen before the time. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the apps menu on each of them to try to compare responsiveness. So this is just a list of apps here.
Apps. Agenda.
I'm going to try to swipe at the same time, but I have one in each hand. I don't know how this is going to work. We'll find out.
Alarm. Recent apps. Assistant. Messages. Camera. Help. Cardiogram. Monitor.
So I'm swiping at the same time, or trying my best to.
Contacts. Samsung Health Monitor. Maps. Easy voice recorder. Play Store. Find my phone. Compass. Fitbit ECG. Fitbit exercise.
So as you can see, they're pretty close to each other. I couldn't notice any difference in day-to-day usage as to which one was laggier. I'm not impressed with either of them. I wish they were both more responsive, but comparing them next to each other, I don't notice a difference. So I'll just talk about the navigational differences between the two. On the Galaxy Watch, so if you're on the home screen.
Home screen. 2:34 p.m. 2:34 p.m.
You swipe down from the top to get to your quick panel.
Quick panel page 1 of 3. Home screen.
Or you'd swipe
2:34 p.m.
up from the bottom with 2 fingers.
Apps.
To get to your apps.
2:35 p.m.
And you would swipe right with 2 fingers to get to your notifications, or swipe left with 2 fingers to get to your tiles. And you would just keep swiping to go through each tile or to go through each notification. So that's how the Galaxy Watch is set up. On the Pixel Watch,
home screen, 2:35 p.m. Unread notification, 2:35 p.m.
On the Pixel Watch, you swipe down with 2 fingers
quick settings
to get to quick settings.
Scroll up to return to watch face.
So that's the same.
2:35 p.m. Unread notification.
But to get to your notifications, you swipe up with 2 fingers.
Notifications.
And on the Pixel Watch, if you swipe left with 2 fingers or right with 2 fingers, it'll take you to your tiles. So if you have a whole bunch of tiles and you just want to go to the last one, you would swipe right. If you want to go to the first one, you would swipe left. So the navigation wraps around there on the Pixel Watch. And so that's as far as the swipe gestures. There's also a crown on the Pixel Watch and a bezel on the Galaxy Watch. And on this exact model of the Galaxy Watch, it's a digital crown, so you have to rotate your finger around the edge. But if you're on the home screen, or anywhere really, rotating the crown on the Pixel Watch or the bezel on the Galaxy Watch will scroll the page. But if you're on the home screen, rotating the bezel on the Galaxy Watch will go through your tiles or your notifications, depending on which way you rotate it. And on the Pixel Watch, rotating the crown will bring down the quick panel or quick settings, or bring up your notifications and scroll through your notifications. Now, as far as buttons go, on the Galaxy Watch, there's a home button and a back button. The home button takes you to the home screen. The back button takes you back. So that's pretty straightforward. However, you can customize the back button to take you to your recents if you want to on the Galaxy Watch. And you cannot customize the double press of the recents. That will take you to Samsung Pay. You can, however, customize a long press or a double press of the home button to whatever you want. So right now I have my long press set to Google Assistant, my double press set to Bixby. As for the buttons on the Pixel Watch, sorry, this is confusing, but the crown will take you home. If you're already on the home screen, meaning the watch face, you press the crown again, that's how you get to your apps. A long press of the crown will bring up the power menu. The side button on the Pixel Watch, a single press brings up recents. A double press will take you into the last app you're using. And a triple press turns on and off TalkBack. And none of those are customizable on the Pixel Watch. And speaking of the TalkBack shortcut, on the Galaxy Watch, you can make it a triple tap with 2 fingers on the screen or a double tap of the home button. Okay, so got all the navigational stuff out of the way. So I'm going to turn off TalkBack on the Pixel Watch by triple pressing the side key.
TalkBack off. 2:42 p.m.
Now I'm going to turn it off on the Galaxy Watch by triple pressing with 2 fingers.
TalkBack off.
And the reason I'm going to do this next part with TalkBack off is because it will talk while you're trying to use Google Assistant on either of these watches, which is annoying, but that's how it is. So I'm just going to compare the speed of Google Assistant from the screen off state. I'll do the Galaxy Watch first. I'll let you know when I press the button, and then you'll know when it's ready to listen because I'll start talking. I'm just going to ask for the time. I'm going to press, this is the Galaxy Watch, and I'm going to press it now. What time is it?
It's 2:43 p.m.
Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the Pixel Watch. I'm going to press it now. What time is it?
2:43 p.m.
So as you can see, it takes a little bit longer to be ready to listen on the Pixel Watch, but I think the actual getting your answer takes the same amount of time, no matter which one you're using. Okay, so next I'm just going to compare the accessibility settings between the two. So right now I'm on the Galaxy Watch, and I'm just going to swipe through the settings so you can hear what's there.
Functions you're using. Using 3 functions. Talkback. Visibility enhancements. Hearing enhancements. Interaction and dexterity. Advanced settings. Installed apps. Looking for this.
Okay, so that was everything in the accessibility settings here. I'm going to go back to visibility.
Interaction and hearing enhancements. Visibility enhancements. Visibility enhancements. High contrast fonts off.
High contrast fonts.
Color correction off.
Color correction.
Color inversion off.
Color inversion.
Add color filter off.
Add color filter.
Remove animations off.
Remove animations.
Reduce transparency and blur off.
Reduce transparency and blur.
Magnification on.
Magnification.
Bold font off.
Bold font.
Font size.
Font size. And that's all that's inside the visibility enhancements.
Visibility enhancements.
So I'm also going to go down to
hearing enhancement. Interaction and advanced settings.
Advanced settings.
Advanced settings. Accessibility shortcuts using 1 function.
So there's an accessibility shortcut where you can customize it. So you can change it to toggle anything you want rather than just talkback. You can have it turn on magnification or color inversion or any of the other accessibility services that are on here.
Vibration watch on.
Vibration watch. This is huge. This is the ability of you to be able to have your watch vibrate the time to you without making any sound.
Time to take action default.
You can adjust the time to take action. And that's all that's in the advanced accessibility settings. And here's what's in the accessibility settings on the Pixel Watch.
Not checked. Magnification.
Magnification.
Talkback.
Talkback.
Font size.
Font size.
Sound.
Sound.
Vibration.
Vibration.
Real-time text RTT.
Real-time text.
Text-to-speech output.
Text-to-speech output.
Not checked. Power button ends call.
Power button ends call. And as you can see, that's the end of the accessibility settings page. And everything is on this page. It's not split into sections because, as you could tell, there's a lot less on the Pixel Watch. One of the big things that's missing here is the vibration time. So there's no way for your Pixel Watch to tell you what time it is through vibrations. It's also missing color inversion, bold text, high contrast text, as well as a couple of other accessibility features. So Samsung has really added a lot in this area. Just a couple of thoughts comparing Bixby to Google Assistant, because if you're using your watch, you're probably going to want to use Bixby if you're using a Galaxy Watch, because it can do a lot of things Google Assistant can't do. For example, if you want to just say, turn on Do Not Disturb, or you want to say, set my screen brightness to X level, or you want to say set volume to X level. That's stuff you can do with Bixby, and none of that stuff currently works with Google Assistant, even on the Pixel Watch. So that's something I've noticed using both of these, because I do use voice commands for as many things as I would like to. And speaking of voice commands, Google Assistant and Bixby both will not read your text messages back to you if you say, text so-and-so. It'll say, what do you want to say? You say it, and it will just say, do you want to send this? And if you say, read it to me, read it back to me, what's it say, any of that, it'll just get confused. And if you try to read what's on the screen with TalkBack, it'll just get even more confused because it'll hear what TalkBack's saying. So it's basically not possible to send a message confidently and actually know what message is being sent by using either voice assistant, Bixby or Google Assistant. And I just want to talk about screen size for a minute. Now, I know the Galaxy Watch comes in smaller sizes, but I personally love the larger screen. It's so much easier to do any gesture, whether it's an angled gesture, a back and forth gesture, or even just a tap with two fingers. For me, it's much easier with the larger screen. That's something I've been struggling with the Pixel Watch. And I would imagine it would be the same if I was using a Galaxy Watch 5, 40 millimeter. Although that's just the watch size, that's not the screen size. So technically, the 41 millimeter Galaxy or 41 millimeter Pixel Watch is larger than the 40 millimeter Galaxy Watch, but I'm not so sure about the screen size, because from what I hear, the Pixel Watch has quite a bezel, so it might actually have a smaller screen than any of the Galaxy Watches. I will say one thing that I really liked on the Pixel Watch that I didn't notice an option for on the Galaxy Watch is the ability to wear it in any orientation you want. So during setup, it asks you which hand you have it on and which side you want the crown to be on. So I like to wear my watch on the right hand, so I technically wear the watch upside down because I still want the crown to be on the left side where I can reach it with my left hand. So it asks you that during setup, and it changes the screen orientation to be upside down, basically, so you can wear the watch upside down and still have it work correctly. And I haven't noticed an option to do that on my Galaxy Watch. I would like to be able to wear it with the buttons on the left side so I can reach them with my left hand, but I haven't come across a way to do that. And for those of you that are curious about the microphone quality, I will record a sample recording on each of these watches and insert them here. This is a test recording using my Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. Just want to see how this sounds compared to the Pixel Watch. I'm holding the watch about 8 to 12 inches away from my mouth. And now this is a test recording coming from the Pixel Watch, comparing it to the previous recording from the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. And I'm also holding this about the same distance away, 8 to 12 inches. And one last thing I will mention is the battery life, because that's what people seem to really care about. Now, obviously, the Watch 5 Pro has a much better battery life because it has double the size battery, basically. Now, that being said, I've been perfectly happy with the Pixel Watch the way I use it anyway. You know, I didn't work out with it. I don't do a whole lot on it, to be honest, because with either of these watches, you know, if it's easier for me to do something on my phone, I'm just going to pull out my phone and do it on my phone. So there's very few things that I actually do on the watches. But that being said, I think I could get through a day no matter what. Using it the way I use it, I could get through 2 days on the Pixel Watch and probably 5 days on the Galaxy Watch. I'll just give you some numbers. So this is after 2 days of uses. So I took both watches off the charger in the morning and then went through that full day and the next full day and went to charge them at night. So, you know, it was probably around 40 hours that I had them off the charger. And my Pixel Watch was down to 25% and my Galaxy Watch was down to 70%. So that just goes to show I would have gotten a lot longer on the Galaxy Watch, but the Pixel Watch was plenty for me because in my routine, I would charge the watch once a day, no matter what, and I don't think it would ever not get through the day for me. So I hope this was informative, and I hope it helps somebody to make a decision between these two watches. All right, thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, John. That's wonderful, and I'm looking forward to getting my Pixel Watch. We now come to my favorite segment of the episode, and that is the Android journey story. And our friend Dhvaj Dhyani is here today to talk about his Android journey story. Dhyani, you want to take us down that memory lane? It's always a beautiful thing to go back and relive those days when we get started with our Android journey stories. Sir, it's your turn.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for inviting me here. And frankly speaking, I would be the youngest, might be the youngest in all of you, between all of you. And my Android journey basically started in 2012. I was around seven and a half years old when my first Android phone came in my hands. It was a phone which was from an Indian brand, and that was a phone which had zero accessibility. It had nothing in terms of accessibility. Frankly, it had no talkback, nothing. I tried to figure out that time. Many people told me, like the people who used to use the Samsung phones, they told me that you can use it with the talkback. And for reference, I am partially blind, so I can use my phones without talkback. Like I use my current phone as well without talkback and without voiceover. And so coming to my journey, basically the true journey started with my Panasonic P11 in 2013. It was an Android 4 device. And at that time, I was so fascinated by the talkback, like how easy it was for me to read stuff. Like I didn't know that we can magnify the screen at that time. So it was really tough for me to read the screen. And that time, you know that the phones were just 5 and a 2-inch of size. And it's kind of tough to read without dark mode. And any other stuff, you know, like the earlier Android, you all know that. So it was a kind of relief to me. And I remember when I first started typing on my phone, it was so fascinating, like the keyboard which we used to use on our laptop, that same kind of keyboard with that QWERTY, QWERTY, like it was so fascinating. Then I basically myself, I had no teacher. Basically, my mom was my teacher. Like, she is a normal woman, and she told me that, hey, you can message me on my phone to learn that how you can message a person. Like, at that time, I was not using the WhatsApp, the normal text message. I started to learn that, and frankly, I did everything myself. And I would like to give you one memory. Like, we had, when we used to open the global context menu, it was a round bucket bowl kind of thing. You all might remember, right? It was some different kind of thing. It was not the list.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was so different. Like, and then I moved to Asus phone. Like, I have never repeated the phone except Samsung. Like, then I moved to the Asus, and that launcher was also accessible. Like, Panasonic had stock Android, and Asus had its own Zen UI. So it was a Zen phone 5. It was a really good phone. Like, it was just 10,000 rupees, and it had a metal frame and so cool. At that time, I was feeling like it was one of the unique phones at the time, and it had. I was very much using it. Basically, I never used TalkBack in the real true sense at that time, at least, because I used to just use the screen. Because that time we had a very good function, which was the pause feedback. That was really helpful. Because now we have it in commentary screen reader. At that time, we had that cool function in our TalkBack as well. And then, basically, then I moved to a BlackBerry, which was not an Android, so let's skip that one. It was also a good one. Then I again came back to a Chinese brand, Xiaomi. It had some accessibility bugs, like many accessibility bugs, so I skipped that out. Then I got my Realme phone, and it was better. Like, then I basically started to use TalkBack more and started exploring it more. Like, I find now, like, after that, I went to Samsung because people told that, hey man, you are using TalkBack and you don't know that Samsung is the most accessible. And that time I decided that, okay, I need to go to Samsung. I went to Samsung with M30 at that time in 2019. I basically loved it because it had good accessibility features. The UI was accessible. And then right now, my current device is Galaxy A22 5G. And it's also a good device. And right now, the most irritating thing for me is the Samsung TalkBack's latest version. Like, today, I uninstalled the latest version and installed the old one, the stable one. But still, it got the same features which are there in the 13.5. So it's 13.1 point something, but still I have features of 13.5, man, like automatic, that image description is annoying me now. So now you can ask me your questions. Like, this was from my side. You can ask questions and then I can answer it more better, I think.
Okay, so the typical conditional question that I always ask, that Warren loves the most. Which screen reader do you use?
Oh no! Oh no!
Frankly, I speak on my volume and power up. I have Google TalkBack, and if I press the both volume keys, I have G Show as well as Samsung TalkBack. So
it's the same way I have mine set up.
So you have the best screen reader on the phone.
Yeah, and on iPhone, of course, VoiceOver. I use VoiceOver.
Did that answer Miriam's question?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure after today he's going to switch completely to the CSR. I'm pretty sure, because I'm great. I'm awesome, and people, once they listen to my series, they just
I listen. I listen your series.
Yeah, you do. Okay, I have a fan here. Come on. Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't use regular screen readers. Like, if you someday come to my home and open my phone, then there is no screen reader activated right now. I use my phone most of the time with magnification.
And so Mariam has a potential convert to the confused screen reader. Well, thank you so much, Dhyani, for that wonderful Android journey story. And with that, we come to the end of today's episode, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. We want you to come to that party. And from me, it's goodbye.
For people to locate us, they can email us with their questions or feedback or comments or recording submissions to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. They can browse our website, blindandroidusers.com. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/blindandroidusers. Subscribe to our mailing list, Blind Android Users, plus subscribe at groups.io. The links for Telegram and Twitter, Clubhouse will be in the show notes with all the other links. So that is it from us this week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, folks.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to another clip from the Blind Android Users channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're notified of every new material that we upload. Thanks again for listening to the Blind Android Users channel.